Welcome to April Antoinette Glam, where beauty, fashion, and fragrance reign supreme. Today we're going to talk about older fragrances. Older fragrances that I still am in love with, that are still in my weekly rotation, that still are worth purchasing. Like, yeah, we all get caught up into these newer fragrances and wanting the newest thing, but there are some oldies that are absolute goodies. So that is what we are going to talk about today. Let's stop the chatter. Let's get into what matters. Let's talk fragrances. First fragrance up is going to be La Instant Magic from the house of Guerlain. Now, this particular fragrance was released in 2007. So it's not extremely old, but it's definitely not extremely new. This is the new packaging of it. There was a different bottle. I prefer this bottle. It's an absolutely beautiful bottle. Let's get into the notes. This one doesn't have a really complex composition. It has 4 notes: bergamot, rose, freesia, and white musk. So let's spray this one. Now, it does not mention violet in it, but it does have a violet smell to me. It's like a powdery violet. It takes me back to my childhood. It makes me think of this children's cologne that my mom used to buy for me. It was called Las Violetas, I think is what it was called, or something Violetas. The violets is basically what it translates to. It is a Spanish cologne, and it smells sort of like that, but like the grown-up version of it. So it's very, very powdery, a teeny bit soapy, but I definitely smell that violet type of note in it. I absolutely love this one. And this one has a very, very long wear on my skin. I could wear it like in the middle of the day, and if I just like go to sleep and wake up, it'll still be there. I tried to do that last night, and I put it on after I took a shower. When I woke up, I still smelled it. So that powdery part of it keeps it soft. It keeps it very, very feminine. I absolutely love this one because it's just not too heavy, and it always smells better as it ages. The dry down on it is amazing. Now, our next fragrance is going to be from the house of Hanae Mori. Hanae Mori was a Japanese clothing designer, and she came out with a fragrance line, and this was the first one from her fragrance line. Absolutely love this one. Very old school, very inexpensive. It was launched in 1996. This is classified as the Oriental Woody. So let's get into the notes. Its head notes are black currant, strawberry, blackberry, and blueberry. And then the middle notes are going to be jasmine, ylang, rose, and peony. And then the base notes are going to be sandalwood, Virginia cedar, Brazilian rosewood, and almond tree. Now, when I first spray this, now let's make sure not to spray this in my face. Black currant is the main note that I smell. So it does have a very, very fruity opening, and then it dries down to an almost woody finish. So the dry down lasts pretty long on me, and I definitely smell the almond tree and the sandalwood. It's very, very woody. So oriental in the fact that it's warm, but it does have a fruity top. I like this one a lot because you don't smell so many fragrances with strawberry, blackberry, blueberry, and black currant. I don't really have any fragrances with this. So it has a lot of notes, but they come together so nicely. This is a timeless fragrance. Like, I could imagine myself buying this for the next 40, 50 years. I absolutely love this one. It just puts me in the mind of fragrance is like a memory box for me. It takes me back to the 90s era, 90s fashion, 90s music. It just puts me in that mind frame. And I don't know why, maybe because it is a 90s fragrance, but it just puts me in the headspace of that particular time. And I love the 90s. It's one of my favorite eras, especially with music, fashion, makeup, fragrances, of course. So I just like to break this one out when I'm in my little 90s vibe. I'm playing my 90s music. It takes me there. So that's Hanae Mori signature. So our next fragrance is going to come from the house of Lalique. This is Satine by Lalique. The bottle is absolutely beautiful. And of course, I'll insert a clip of it. This was launched in 2013. It's another Oriental woody fragrance. Now let's discover. So the notes here are jasmine, heliotrope, and gardenia at the head, tonka bean, which is one of my absolute favorites, vanilla, and pink pepper as the middle notes, and sandalwood, vetiver, and patchouli at the base. Now let's spray her. Now this is the one that I have on today. As soon as I spray it, I actually smell the tonka bean. My nose is very sensitive to tonka bean and patchouli, and those are the notes that stick out to me. Now, the dry down is completely different than when I first spray it. When I first spray it, I don't absolutely love it. It's okay. But once it dries down on me, it is absolutely amazing. So this one is slightly silky, slightly powdery, but definitely creamy, and it has very, very, like, it's a hazy type of fragrance. It kind of lingers in the air and sticks to the skin, and it leaves a trail of like this powdery musk behind it. I absolutely love this one. I've been wearing this one for the last like 3 to 4 days, and I can't get enough of it. It's just so, I guess the name kind of gives you a hint to what feeling it gives. It gives like a satiny type of envelope of wonderfulness. How else can you describe it? It's just such a beautiful scent, and it makes you think of like a time and place when women just put effort into even like the art of getting dressed. You know what I mean? Like silk robes and a dressing table, and you know, sitting there in front of a vanity doing your makeup. Like, it puts me into that type of mind frame. Like, you want to go all out to look your absolute best, and then you spray a little bit of this on to finish the whole, you know, the whole shebang. So again, this is Satine by Lalique. Absolutely beautiful bottle, absolutely timeless fragrance. So we are going in with another Lalique fragrance. This is Lalique Signature. Absolutely pretty bottle. Of course, I will insert a video of this one, and this one was launched in 1992. This one is a woody floral. Let me put her here, and we're gonna spray her first. I want to get into this vibe. Okay. So the notes, for all these notes, guys, because this one has a lot of notes. Chinese gardenia, Sicilian mandarin orange, black currant accords, blackberry, peony, orange blossom, magnolia, Bulgarian rose, and ylang ylang, sandalwood, vanilla, amber, and oak moss at the ending of this. Now, this one starts out like a soapy but musky type of fragrance. So I smell a little bit of the jasmine in there, and then it dries down to a powdery musk. So it still has a little bit of sweetness with all the fruit and florals, but it does have quite a bit of musk. I forgot 2 of the notes. That's how many notes are in here. Cedar and Tibetan musk. So I definitely smell the cedar and the musk on the end trail, and that's what it dries down to on me. Very, very long wear. Now, if you are not into the Elizabeth Taylor era of fragrances like White Diamonds and her other fragrances, you might not like this one so much because it puts me in the mind of that one. It does smell a little bit dated, but I absolutely love that one. It puts me in the mind of being home, being around Bell Harbor, or being around Miracle Mile in Miami, around all these expensive shops, going to like expensive stores. It has a very expensive feel, but it does smell dated. It's not very modern, but I still love it. I probably will always have this in my wardrobe because it takes me back to a specific time and place. Again, that's Lalique Signature fragrance. It definitely is worth the smell, especially if you like those fragrances in the era of Elizabeth Taylor. We're down to our last 2, and they're both are going to be from the house of Guerlain. So the first one that we're going to talk about is Insolence by Guerlain in the same type of bottle. This is the EDT version, and I actually like the EDT more than I like the EDP. This one is a little bit more intense than the EDP, which is unusual. This is one of the newer launches from everything that I've been mentioning. This one was launched in 2017, so it's a little bit more modern than the other ones. The fragrance profile of this one is a fruity floral. So let's spray her. And it doesn't have very many notes in it to remember. It has berry notes, violet, orange blossom, and iris. I immediately get the berry notes in this. Very fruity. on the opening. I've been spraying all this perfume. Now I'm sneezing up a storm. I've sprayed too many things. This one, that the berry notes stay prevalent for a very long time on me. Even in the air surrounding me, I can still smell like the berry notes. But the way that it dries down is what drew me to it. It smells like fresh, clean laundry once it dries down on my skin. And I absolutely love this one. Men are very complimentary on this one as well. I get a lot of compliments from men with this because you just smell clean and you smell like fresh laundry after a while. Now, keep in mind, it does take a little bit of time for it to dry down to that clean laundry smell. You will smell that fruit for quite a bit of time. And if that does not bother you, then you'll love this one. But I love, love, love the dry down on this. Our last one, guys. And it, again, I told you it was from the House of Guerlain. And this is Samsara by Guerlain. And I have it in the EDP version. And it is a smaller bottle, but same concept as all the rest of my Guerlain bottles. They all look the same. They're just different colors, and then the labeling is a little bit different. So let's get into, and I hope I'm not dropping anything over there. Let's get into the oldest launch on my whole list here. But this is the newer bottle. It used to come in a red crystal bottle, absolutely beautiful bottle. And I wish I could find that particular bottle just to keep, you know, on my vanity. But this is the newer bottle, and I still love that. Like I said, this is the oldest launch. It was launched in 1989. Jean Paul Guerlain is the one who launched it. You know, the House of Guerlain, Jean Paul Guerlain, he came out with the fragrance, and he designed the original bottle. Now let's get into at the head. It has bergamot, lemon, ylang ylang, peach, and green notes. Then in the middle, it has jasmine, iris, narcissus, violet, and rose. And then at the base, it has sandalwood, vanilla, tonka bean, my fave, amber, and musk. I love all the base notes. I mean, I love the rest of the notes, but the base notes are what get allergies don't go haywire. This one is so different than most of the ones that I've talked about today, even though the composition notes are almost the same, especially the base notes. There's a lot of fragrances that I've been talking about that have sandalwood, that have tonka bean, that have amber, that have musk. But the way that he did this particular one is absolutely insane. It has a very complex composition. There are a lot of notes. So when it opens, I smell that very, very woody type of note in there. And then it's slightly powdery. But the dominant note for me is sandalwood. And I'm still smelling it to try to get, it's a very romantic fragrance. Perfect for date night. Perfect for a lasting first impression. When you wear this one, somebody is going to remember you. If you want to create like a specific memory for someone, this is a great perfume for that. It just has such pleasant notes for me, and it is the oldest one, but I absolutely think out of all of the ones that I've talked about today, this is going to be my favorite. It's just so different. The narcissus in it is a very peculiar smell, but it adds to the complexity of this fragrance. What else can I say about it? It does have a little bit of a powder dry down, but not something like baby powder. More like one of, you remember those powders that they used to have in the in these containers with a big powder puff, like that kind of powder. It's just such a pretty fragrance. All right, guys. So we finally come to the end of another fragrance video. So, what are your favorites in this video? If you've tried any of these, please leave a message below. Let me know what has been your favorites, what it makes you think of, what it puts you in the mind of, and your thoughts on any of the fragrances that I mentioned today. Or if there's anything from any of these houses that you think I should try, let me know. I might end up buying it. Yeah, so as always, I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you've come back for another video and have an amazing, amazing day. Deuces.